I was not expected to get back to this series so soon. The last time I reviewed anything Sonic related was back in late 2015, and I was planning to go into the Zelda series after I finished Arkham. However, I suck at scheduling shit, so those videos took way longer than they really should have, and the next set of Sonic games I had planned to look at were the 3D games. However, in mid-2016 during a Sonic Birthday livestream event, Sega released trailers for 2 new games for the Blue Blur's 25th anniversary. Sonic Forces, coming out holiday of this year, and Sonic Mania, a new 2D adventure in the style of the classic series. The people we can thank for this game's existence is one Christian Whitehead alongside Headcanon Games, a group of Sonic fans who got a lot of respect in the community for creating top-notch fan hacks, as well as recreating Sonic's 1, 2, and CD with widescreen support in HD and a bunch of bonuses for the player to use. Soon enough, Sonic Team brought them on board and in collaboration with Sega of America, created the nostalgia-filled ride known as Sonic Mania. So, was the game worth all the hype, and is it a worthy follow-up to one of the best Sonic games of all time? Let's find out. Let's start with the plot, which really isn't anything super in-depth. Sometime after the events of 3, Sonic and Tails pick up this distress signal from Angel Island and find these 3 egg robos called the Hard Royal Heavies stealing this gem for Dr. Ramonda called the Phantom Ruby. And in hearing this name, I want a crossover between Sonic and the Phantom of the Opera. Sega, make it happen. 30th anniversary starring Gerard Butler as Shadow the Hedgehog. They use the Ruby to send Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles through time and space across many familiar zones as well as some new zones until we catch up with the Doctor and take him out. And that's about it. The story is a little more involved than the last games, but just as simple and easy to follow, which I like. Now, I've never been against Sonic games having storylines that go beyond the traditional formula. After all, I love the plot to Unleashed. But this kind of setup I think works for this sort of game. Now, as far as the gameplay goes, well, look at it. It's a classic Sonic game. You got rings, loops, slopes, springs, classic badniks. Basically, all the trademarks that make a classic Sonic game are here and accounted for. The main trio is back, allowing us to choose between Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, and they retain their own unique abilities. Tails can fly for a short period of time, and Knuckles can glide, climb walls, and break through certain walls to find new pathways that the other two just couldn't get to. Sonic also has a new ability called the Drop Dash, which you can do by holding down the jump button in mid-air, and it gives you a burst of speed when you land. This ability is so addictive to use, especially during time trials. Other than that, everyone controls pretty much the same. They can run fast, jump, and spin dash. Nice and consistent. I repeat, nice and consistent. And it makes exploring the stages all the more enjoyable. Speaking of which, there are 12 stages in total, with some new zones, but there's mostly older ones. The old stages borrow some set pieces from the original, but are for the most part almost completely redesigned and are also given some slightly different looks to them. Green Hill Zone starts out as usual, but ends in the caverns underneath. Chemical Plant has the high-speed tubes, but also has this goo that makes you bounce high. And it's not only gimmicks they add, the references in this game are too many to count. You have cameos from characters who haven't been seen since the 90s, like Fang the Sniper and Bark the Polar Bear. There are also several different monitors for you to break, one of which is a power-up that makes getting rings back from getting hit much easier. But that wasn't introduced in this game, it was actually from Knuckles Chaotix. And yes, I have played the game, and it's okay. Nothing good, nothing bad, just kinda decent, I guess. But to me, the funniest reference has to be the second boss, where you play a game of Mean Bean Machine, or Puyo Puyo Pop. This made me laugh so hard on my first playthrough, and I still enjoy it. After all, I do like Puyo Puyo just as much as I like Tetris. But I think this kind of went overboard a little bit. I mean, I enjoy it, but not everyone's gonna be good at this kind of puzzle game. Sonic Mania is a pure nostalgia-filled love letter to fans of the classic games, and I feel if this were the first game to do that, this would have gotten a much bigger reaction out of people. But then again, several games before this have already kind of done this sort of thing. Generations, Lost Worlds, both episodes of Sonic 4, and because of that, I think Mania kind of loses something with its callbacks. I like to compare it to Generations in this case because one, they're both good games, get wrecked, and also in the way they portray the references. Generations has the aesthetics of the original games, but aside from updating them with 2.5D graphics, you also have modern Sonic, which I think is safe to say doesn't play very much like his old self. In this case, it appeals to fans old and new. Mania's references pander specifically to the fans who grew up with the classic games. I don't think it's so bad that new fans can't jump in. Hell, I did, and my first Sonic game was Colors. On the DS, but it was still Colors. But I do think it makes the whole appeal of the game a little shallow. Where this game shines the most for me are the new zones. Studiopolis, by far my favorite stage in the game. I have listened to the theme of this stage so many times, but being a film buff, I love the TV studio look. Press Garden is probably a close second for me. I'm not huge on Act 1, but Act 2? Oh my god, Sega, just take all my money now, please! The stage is well designed, but I love it purely from its presentation. The sprite work in this stage is gorgeous, and the music is so damn good. People always say that Ice Cap from Sonic 3 is the best ice level theme in the series, but this tops it in my opinion. Mirage Saloon is also a very cool stage. Act 1 changes depending on what character you play as, whereas Sonic and Tails are flying the tornado through robotics terrain, Knuckles is trying to traverse the canyon. Act 2 is just pure awesome, and without a doubt the best desert level I have ever played in any game, period. The canteen bar look is so cool, and the music, oh my god, this synthetic trumpet is so sexy sounding. The final original stage is also the final stage in the game, in fact. Titanic Monarch to me is an ideal final level. It's the longest stage in the game, but it doesn't overstay its welcome, and the difficulty is just right. And the music is creepy as hell, which I think works. And the final boss is really cool. That is something I should mention real quick. The bosses in this game are great. They test your timing and coordination, and they are all different in some way. As far as the extra stuff goes, well, you can also go after the Chaos Emeralds, which are needed in order to get the good ending, just like the old games. And unlike the old games, except for 3, the special stages are a ton of fun and also a very cool combination of basically every special stage from the classic games. You chase down this UFO while collecting blue orbs to increase your speed, but you also gotta make sure you collect rings because they act as your timer. The stages encourage prioritizing so you don't use too much of one thing. Once you get all 7, you can transform once again into Super Sonic. But it doesn't stop there. You can also get them with Tails to become Super Tails. And it doesn't stop there. You can also get them to unlock Super Knuckles. Alright, I get it! There are also special stages you can play when crossing a checkpoint, and hey, it's Blue Sphere! Okay, now that's pretty cool. You don't have to do these in order to beat the game. It's purely for unlocking the extras. And the extras are actually really cool. You can get a sound test to listen to the music. You can also unlock a debug mode, which lets you place whatever object you want on the stage. One of my favorite extras you can get is unlocking the special moves from the previous Sonic games, just like the Super Peel-Out from Sonic CD, and the Insta-Shield from Sonic 3. You can only use these in no save mode, unfortunately, but it is honestly worth it in order to try these moves out in the game. But by far, the best extra you unlock in this game is And Knuckles mode, where instead of playing as Sonic and Tails, you play as Sonic and Knuckles, Tails and Knuckles, and yes, you could play as Knuckles and Knuckles. 2 Knuckles, less chuckles, and more flexion of the muscles.
Hard as nails, it ain't hard to tell. I break them down whether they solid or frail. Unlike the rest, I'm independent since my first breath. First test, feel the right, then the worst left.
As far as presentation goes, well, I think it kind of goes without saying, this game looks amazing. The nice part about the graphics is that it isn't actual Genesis sprites. The developers made this as if it were being made for the Sega Saturn. God, I wish we had a game this good on the Saturn, but that style works so well. The colors are breathtaking, and the animations on the characters are smooth as butter. The music allows me to die a happy man. This soundtrack is unbelievable. The remixes are top-notch, and the original tracks are some of the best in the series. Again, Press Garden Act 2. Honestly, what can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? Sonic Mania is truly a game made for the fans. It gives us exactly what we wanted for so long that other games try to capture, but follows it to a T. The plot is small, it isn't a very long game, in fact a normal playthrough would take you around 3 hours, and while the nostalgic pandering may get in the way at times, it doesn't change the fact that Sonic Mania is an extremely fun game that you can tell the developers put their heart and soul into making, and it succeeds. As far as where I place this with the other games, that's tricky. I still think 3K is the most well-made and has a little bit of everything, but Mania, in my opinion, is a close second. It was worth every day of waiting for it. Hell, go buy the game now! It's worth 20 bucks on all platforms, except for Steam right now, but if you can get this game, get it. It is well worth your time and money. I realize this review wasn't as long as the other Sonic reviews, but let me just clarify. Mania really is just a case of taking what worked before and simply making it better. I know in my Sonic 3 review I said that I would be looking at the 3D games the next time I came to this series, but considering that Sonic Forces is coming out this holiday season, it's probably going to take top priority. But whatever, honestly, I don't even know what I'm going to review by that point, but honestly, I think this is a nice break, really, because like reviewing the Arkham games, like those were fun, but like it was exhausting getting through this, so I think this is like a shorter game like this was a nice break. But I know I promised a certain series to review after I was done with Arkham, so I'm not going to delay it any longer. Next series of reviews is another marathon, so next time we meet up, it's going to be the Legend of Zelda Marathon. That's gonna be a train wreck in and of itself, but it's going to be a lot of fun. But with that said, I'm Sean the Game Boy Zero. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.